topic of the agenda. Here we are. It's the BetaSaaSers meeting. We have Michael and Rose and Sam, and yeah, we're going to see if Armando and Richard will join us. But Rose was just talking about a Git problem. So I don't know if Rose, you want to go ahead and try and share your screen. Yeah. So it may be that if I'm going to what can I get? If I go onto very low, yeah, no, I can see it. Oh, turn my camera off there. So hopefully so I can now. I was on so I'm remote today and I've got very low bandwidth, but I think with that.
So you're over HTTPS, which means you'll be prompted for a login. So
yeah, I already was, and I'm logged in.
When you push,
yeah,
what does it say?
Let me try it again. Oh, am I doing the wrong thing here? I'm trying to push back to my branch.
Yeah,
so that's
origin,
okay.
You spelled origin wrong.
Oh well, yeah.
If you tab complete it, you will not just hit tab.
Yeah.
And then fix FIX and then tab complete.
Yeah, to tab complete it.
Yeah. You know, that could be half of it. Oh, okay. Here we are again. This is W. And then oh well, it would help if I could type. That's like a major stumbling block. Oh, okay. So obviously it was a typo. Yeah, because I've done this like 3 times, and every time it failed. Oh, this is. So here it is.
Okay.
And let's see.
Now, this is the homework Rails intro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the download from it.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, so if you, well, it's the original download, and
it's like the download you get out of when you are doing the assignment,
yeah,
right?
when you're doing the assignment. When you're doing the assignment, this is what you get. Okay, and what I found was, can you see my screen? This button to delete. This modal was not working. It was silently failing.
Oh, really?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean to fix it was easy, but so that it doesn't silently fail in the future, I'm trying to write a cucumber test so that I can tell whether or not it's silently failing.
Sure.
And my cucumber test is obviously not working. I mean, one scenario looks like it's working, but it isn't. And I just went through recently when, for instance, and I don't know how asynchronous all this stuff is, all right, but I can tell you that this seems to confirm my concern. Here's the screen before the modal, right, and you can see there's the delete button, and that looks fine. And then I ask it to take a screenshot, you know, when it's processing the modal, but before it has, and it's already deleted it. Okay, and the issue is that my cucumber scenario that says confirm the delete, everything appears to work. Everything.
Sure. Rose, you're describing it. It's fantastic. But what I'm trying to do is get your fork down on my machine so I can.
I'm sorry.
But for some reason I can't find your the list. But so your Rose 345 CW or something.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to paste that in the.
It's funny because it says forked. It says forked, but then
Okay, rows CS345, and I forked Rotten Potatoes Rails.intro, and then I made a branch.
The funny thing is that I should be able to find, because you forked the thing.
Yeah.
I should be able to find your thing from that, but it's just, I mean, that's GitHub, whatever. Anyway, so I've got your fork now. Let me pull that down locally on my machine. Yeah, sorry. So you can carry on talking about the stuff. I'm just going to try and pull your code down to my machine.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that when I ran the Cucumber, let's see, you can see that I have this first scenario, delete movie and confirm, looks like everything's working, right? But I don't think the modal is being processed at all. When I try to dismiss the pop-up, well, I get an error on the next step, but I think that it's just not even seeing the dismiss, because the error indicates that it's not on the right page, that in fact it's going to the index page, and the only time it redirects is when it deletes, not when it cancels and stays on the page.
And
so the
which,
fact of the matter, yeah.
Which the name of the branch fixed confirm
I'm
dialog.
sorry.
No, that's right. I've got it.
It's fixed confirm dialog. I mean, that's the only branch I have for this fork.
Yep, got it. Found
And
it.
if you, if you run it, since I changed the code, it works just fine. If I take out the code I changed, it fails. If I run it with the new code, it works just fine. So here I'm just adding something real quick, and then I'm going to go here and delete it. And you see now the pop-up comes up, and it says, are you sure? And I say, okay, and it goes back. Also, if I go to this one, more about blah, okay, and I say, yeah, I want to delete it, and then I change my mind, cancel, it stays here. So the actual code is now working properly. It wasn't before.
Okay.
But my test just, can't seem to get a grip.
Sure. Can you show me the code that you changed to make it work? What was the difference that you did?
Yeah, sure. It wasn't all that. It was very simple. So before it had button to delete, movies path, method to delete. I don't think it had. I'm not. One of these wasn't there, but I don't think that made the difference. It just said comma confirm. Are you sure? And I had read in a few places that for whatever reason in the latest edition of Rails that you actually have to show that it's part of the data hash. And I don't know whether you only have to put it in braces or you need to give the data : as the hash you're referring to. It would get confused and think it was part of the previous hash.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So we discovered a kind of a. Yeah, so the change was pretty straightforward then.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But what bothered me was that it was silently failing.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Indeed. Very highly bothering. Yeah, I'm just pulling up the code. Yeah. So before it just had confirm. Like data confirm. Are you sure? So there's the thing that absolutely. Yep. Okay. Well, that's a great thing to find. But so this is the thing that is, I think, so frustrating about. I think particularly the two pillars of the stuff in the course is that Rails has got all this magic for doing quick prototyping, and so you can change these things and fix them extraordinarily quickly. And sometimes the fix is like 15 seconds, and then you have 4 hours trying to get your acceptance test,
or 5 days in my case.
And then you've got the RSpecs thing, and you spend whatever X amount of time sorting out the RSpec, and then the question is, what benefit has this given to my Rails project that I've got all this RSpec testing at the lower level? I mean, you can see the argument for the acceptance test. If I have the acceptances, then any change that I make, for important stuff that the top level user cares about. But yes, interesting. So I'm just going to run. I'll run the tests locally on. Oh, that's interesting. Why?
Yeah.
There's a bundle. I think actually my bundle is not finished on. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
You sound
Yeah,
like
I'm still.
sound like PHH now.
Do I?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you know, if so, the next I fixed it. Next version of Rails, is it going to fail again? I mean, we won't know unless there's a test. And I'm sorry, but I'm totally about more tests than needed rather than less tests than needed.
No, indeed. I think
You know,
we need the test. Well, what's
Yeah.
frustrating is the something about the way in which Capybara is
Yeah.
integrating with JavaScript or something. There's something in there that
So-
needs to be a lot simpler than it currently is. Go on.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've never worked with the JavaScript end, so I mean, I expect to run into roadblocks since this is the first time that I've tried to test modals. And I think, you know, from my previous post, I tried to get this going with Selenium, with WebKit driver, and then Ashley suggested that I use Poltergeist and Phantom.js. So I
Yes.
installed all those things, and I tried, like, for instance, I have that supposedly it's integrated properly if you can, you know, go wherever and do a screenshot, and then that says that it's actually doing the headless web driving that it should. But unfortunately, it just seems to barge right past the modal, which could be the way I'm writing the test. I mean, one of the things that's so confusing about this is you click on a button, it's a delete button, and then the modal comes up, and you process it, etc. But I mean, will the test perceive it as two distinct actions? I mean, it's one line of code. It's
Yeah, so
it's just getting to it is puzzling. When I look at it in the debugger, I'm just bewildered.
Yes. Now, well, that's interesting. Well, so I'm just looking at the test now, and so you've got So you've got two tests. You've got delete movie and confirm. I mean, this is, I guess,
Yeah.
I was not showing my screen. I'm not sure if I'll be able to share my screen, but I'm looking at the delete movie thing here.
Yeah.
You've got, so the pressing delete is just the normal thing there, and you've got, this is your test here, you confirming the pop-up, and I'm looking in the code that you've got here,
In
which you, I think, posted
in movie steps.
in movie steps, which is like you're doing page.driver.render confirm.png, and
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm sorry.
yeah, so
I have to bring that over so I can see it.
That's the screenshot, I think.
is that?
She's
Oh, I
capturing a
guess okay.
screenshot.
She's just taking a screenshot of what she. Okay, so is that your phone going, Rose?
Yeah, sorry, I turned it off. I thought it was on vibrate. This thing is never on what I think it is. Yeah, so I threw some debug in there.
Oh yeah, that's
so,
debugging there. So you've been looking at the
yeah, so there's code
okay.
and there's debugging, and I've been pulling it in and out, and yeah, it's what is going on here?
Yeah, so I mean, I think that the interesting thing that I'm seeing here is, I mean, you've got using wait time and the page driver accept, and yeah, that's interesting. Like there's a, I don't know if this is the right solution or the what have you, but there is.
Yeah, well, I'm not either, obviously.
I mean, I'm talking about what I'm going to suggest is whether what I'm going to suggest is going to be of any help or not. The way that you're doing it might actually be completely correct, but what I know from working with Bara is that there's this general move towards avoiding using the waiting approach.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and then so for example, if you use something like expect page to have CSS, what have you, like the to have the have CSS and all of the different things that detect things in the page, they're all designed to wait for any JavaScript to process before they move on. So
that makes sense. I'll tell you that all of the Stack Overflow posts I saw about this said increase the wait time. Everyone.
that's a kind of a general make things better. Although, I mean, there's a wait time like in the step itself, and then there's wait time like the capybara when you're using FolderGrader. It has like a global waiting setting. But this is
this was actually something I picked up from the SFH project. The idea of putting it in the and by the way, whether I have this page driver render or not, it behaves the same way.
No, I was mistaking that for part of doing the confirmation thing there. I mean, I think the
and one of my other questions is when I do this render of the page, I mean, does this happen? You know, is it synced? Because as I said before, I even go to the accept modal, it's already past the page. It's already somewhere else.
Right. Yes. Oh, hello, Armando.
Hello, sorry I'm late.
Hey, no problem. We're just in the middle of debugging this modal thing for which I think we may need some more time on. But we could just pause briefly and say, Armando, any updates for concerns?
I'm kind of curious about the thing you're debugging because I've been fighting JavaScript testing woes myself.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, let's carry on.
I can't see the screen though because your face keeps interrupting it.
Lock onto.
Sam doesn't have the bandwidth right now to show his face.
Armando, if you lock on Rose's thing, should be able to stick. Like, you know how to do that, right?
Ah, there we
go.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And please excuse the some of the code here is hacky.
That's okay. Is it? Are you having trouble with the? There's an error loading your app. What app?
I'm sorry.
No, just dismiss it, Armando. It's Google Hangouts starting to play up.
So is it the dismiss pop-ups thing that's giving you grief?
Yes, it's making me insane.
What are you running this with? Phantom.js
and Poltergeist.
Yeah, I've had it. Does it systematically fail or does it flutter?
Well, what it seems to do is just completely ignore the modals. I have a suspicion that it's blowing past them, and the real code works as it should. But I'm trying to test.
Yes, I was debugging something relatively similar, and my best understanding is that Poltergeist plus Phantom.js, at least the version that I was using, you can't really interact with a modal pop-up. It
because that's the whole reason I installed them.
It'll always dismiss. So you can do these tests, but for this kind of test to work, if you want to interact with the modal, you have to actually run it as a test using WebDriver.
With Selenium or something, right?
Yeah. Well, WebDriver is Selenium.
Yeah.
Selenium is just the older name. So, there was I'm trying to remember the post, but it's basically there are certain JavaScript tests that should generally work fine with Poltergeist and Phantom.js, but there are others, including ones where you want to interact with the pop-up modal, that if you want to actually test it that way, you have to run it with WebDriver and have like a real browser do those tests.
So it can't be headless.
Correct.
Oh.
No, probably.
So I've come full circle.
It's a couple of very specific JavaScript features for which that's the case, and I remember that modal pop-ups are one of them.
Although
that explains why.
Well, I think it may have changed though. I mean, the things I'm posting into the chat there, but I think that there is of 2016 there is a specific accept confirm function.
Yeah,
that works.
That's true.
Right, and so.
But is that function supposed to work with? Because those functions are just wrappers around the page driver, right? So the question is whether that function does something sensible when Poltergeist is the driver, or if it only does something sensible when WebDriver is the driver.
Sure. Well,
I don't know. It's supposed to work, but it doesn't seem to.
Well,
and I'd be curious to ask Ashley how this is working in SFH, or if they're actually, like just kind of blowing past it, or they're really testing the modal.
Right,
I mean,
Rose, you're not using the accept confirm thing. You're using a dismiss modal operator here, right? And is that the one that?
yeah. Yeah, well, that's the one that they said was new that I should use, and I have tried
okay.
the other one, and it wasn't working, but I wasn't sure if I had the driver installed properly.
Was it that you tried the accept confirm thing?
Yes, but as I said, that was my first instinct. All right, but I don't know what. Apparently, I don't know how to configure Selenium properly or something, because it just wasn't working at all. But I just don't know whether to proceed in this direction or to go back, to the idea of using Selenium.
So the thing is that I think, like Armando was getting at, accept confirm is a capybara method, which probably just reaches out to the driver. So if the underlying driver doesn't support that functionality, it doesn't really work. It doesn't do anything.
Okay, but supposedly Poltergeist says that it does support that.
So
I'm not sure it does.
So I guess the question is, what version of Poltergeist are you on, and what version allegedly supports it, and when?
Yeah. I as far as I know, it's the latest version, but
well, you have to check in the gem file. I mean, I'm just trying to get.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at get this running locally for me. I need to reconfigure it because I don't have PhantomJS on my system, and I pull it in a different way using the PhantomJS. Because I don't install it separately.
Yeah, and believe me, anything that I did could be wrong. I've never even attempted this before.
Yeah. Oh no, this thing here is not a criticism of. I'm just saying I'm trying to replicate it on my side.
Oh, absolutely. No, I don't mean to imply that it is. I'm just letting you know. Don't if you're not going to insult me if you find something amiss, all right? Because I totally expect that to happen.
No worries. Yeah, I'm just trying to. At the moment, I can't. I just ran like they ran and it gave me errors that I haven't got the right driver installed.
Okay, 1.14.
1.14 is the version that you're on. Yeah. I'm looking here. Okay, Poltergeist. Oh, okay, here we go. Poltergeist. I'm remote, so I'm not sure that I can share it, but I'm just adjusting. Interesting. I'll share all of the codes once I've. Oh,
jeez.
Here. Okay, so I'm just adjusting the locally. I'm adjusting the capybara configuration so that it will find my Phantom. I'm trying to get to the point where I'm replicating your test failure. Okay, no, it still doesn't like that. I think I need the PhantomJS. There's a gem for PhantomJS. Gem PhantomJS. So I guess you will have installed PhantomJS separately.
Yeah. But now there's a gem for it. I mean, all this could play into it, right?
Yeah, there's a. Oh, okay, here we go. No, so I've got my. I wonder if I can share my screen so you can see what I'm doing. I'll say I'm on very low. Let me see. Let's have a look. Let's try and share that. Can you guys see my screen?
I can. Yeah, I can see it now.
Sure. My PhantomJS version is 2.1.1.
Yeah. So I'm just getting. I mean, I'm running your tests, and they're passing, and I'm getting a failure here for. I think completely different failures for this, and it's like I'm getting a no root matches URL
that's
generation.
exactly what I'm getting. Okay, so the first part, and I can show you how this looks in detail. You're getting exactly the same thing I'm getting, all right? But with mine, you can see the detail, all right? And basically, the first part all appears to pass. And I think it's passing simply because it's blowing past the pop-up.
It's ignoring the pop-up. It's not.
It's just doing the delete. The problem is the second one is failing, and in fact, it's getting ID equals nil because, I mean, it should be on the same page. It's getting ID equals nil because it actually deleted it instead of dismissing the pop-up. And then if you look at the page, it's on the index page, so it's redirected.
Okay, so okay, great. So we've got, yeah, the first one is sort of, it's deleting it and we expect it and we're not seeing it and it's kind of right. But you think it's, so the critical thing would be to get this one to parse here so that it would actually
right. That it would actually do something.
Be able to back out of the system. So it's like then I should see superfluous OAT because the error there should be on, which is on line 38 there. So yeah, this is as it's trying to work out the details page. This thing no longer exists. Okay, so that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come in here, and we've got, and I guess we've also are we storing? It's like you're trying to do this render of dismiss.png. Oh yeah, so if I do here open dismiss.png, then I should be able to.
See,
this is
past. It's
right,
gone. It's already deleted it.
Yeah. So
did you try the one-line thing of just changing the backend driver to WebDriver instead of Poltergeist, and just run that one test?
No, I'm not. Well, I would have to like change my gems and everything.
No,
right?
I don't think so. You might. Well, because WebDriver, there might be a gem for WebDriver, but I think it's pretty lightweight. But other than that, I think you're just changing the one line in the env.rb file for Cucumber.
Yeah, exactly. I've got that up right now. Do you see my? Do you see my?
I gotta switch back to your screen here.
Yeah. So see, I have it all set up for Poltergeist, and I'm not even sure of this, but I could, of course, change this. I think I would have to bundle install and throw in some gems. I mean, I'm fine with giving it a try. I'm just not sure how to what gems I would need because that was a week ago.
I thought you started with WebKit. That was
Selenium
what you were working
WebDriver. Yeah, I started with that, and then I pulled all that out because it wasn't working, and then I tried WebKit. And that wasn't working. And then Ashley said, "We'll try Poltergeist and Phantom JS because they're using it on SFH." And from what she said, I thought that there were no problems and it was working. But boy, I don't know. It could just be not integrated properly. It's been difficult to find reasonable documentation anywhere.
Right. But so I mean, I'm just trying out here on my. I guess actually I should have moved us off because it's being focused on your screen. So on my side, I've just gone over to try this approach where instead time that we're doing this accept confirm
to get rid of the
on the modal.
Sure, I can do that fast.
No, I mean but I've done it here, and so it's basically it's unable to find the link. Are you sure? In that context, but yeah, certainly if the coming back independently of what any of these different things can work, like if at this point drawing the page at this point, right? It seems like it's already got there. Like at the point at which when I press delete, at that point in the interface, that sort of implies that, like you say, that it's gone past it, and it's just sort of complete.
I tried flipping the order. I mean, it's just like it's like in the middle of it. It's like how do you get to it?
The thing that I'm tempted to do there, I mean, as a thing, is you had already is to get this up and run it on like a different port here and go.
Oh, you want to see it running?
Well,
running is fine.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I want to use that to sort of scaffold my thinking about. Oh no, for some reason, hold on. Thinking about the order. Now, for some reason here, I can't actually run the Rails server.
Oh, really?
For some, I'm getting this undefined method activate bin path. I guess maybe I need bin. What is that? do it for me?
I've got it running on my side.
I don't know. It's
You see it?
I need to use the bin thing here. I need to. Dun, 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 dun. Yes. Yeah, I mean, certainly what I'm seeing to me that I think that Armando might well be right, that if we have like you were showing us before already, Rose, that if we go in here and we click the delete button that we're hitting. So if we refer back to here, like if this is the point when I press delete, and that is
then the pop-up comes up,
right, and it's clicking button there. Here we've got this button coming up, but if at this point this is our immediate next step, and if at our next point that we're in here, and at that it's already deleted it.
Yeah, it's past.
It's not. Yeah, it's not supporting this at all, is it?
No.
No. Yeah. So maybe WebKit is, as Armando is saying, it's the only.
Yeah, maybe I can't go headless, or at least I can't figure it out. I would like to.
This one test. I mean, you can register multiple drivers.
Right.
You don't have to run all of your JavaScript stuff under a WebDriver because it is slower.
Oh,
but I think for this, I'm pretty sure I remember reading that up until a quite recent version of Poltergeist and Phantom.js, it will essentially instantly dismiss any modal pop-ups by clicking OK.
Well, and that's the
I don't think this is testable.
That's the experience I have.
Well, this we can see in the SHF project that this is the this is what they're doing. But of course, they're doing confirm and dismiss and so on. I mean, it may be that their tests are vacuous in that, like you've got a test of it going in both directions.
Yeah.
But maybe,
I mean, I was all excited when it was passing, and then I realized, oh, it's passing because it's not doing anything.
I mean, I guess the other thing is that you're doing there with the dismiss, and they're doing dismiss middle confirm or whatever. I mean, basically, I don't know what they're doing with their driver, but like there's no point in us fiddling around with this if by this point it's already just as you were saying.
Yeah, exactly. I just noticed something. I think I may be one or two, versions behind. Bigger than or equal to. I thought when I went to the Poltergeist site that I would get this, the latest version, but it appears that maybe I didn't. Let's see.
The SHA people are definitely using Poltergeist for all of those tests.
Right. Exactly.
They're on Poltergeist 1.13.
Okay, I think my Poltergeist was 1.11.
I'm running it here on 1.14.
Oh, are you? Oh, and it's not working? 1.14. It says 1.13 is the latest.
Let me see, like the versions of Poltergeist. Yeah, I'm seeing that March 16th, 2017. We're on 1.14.
Really?
Yeah, version of Poltergeist.
I don't see Poltergeist in the gem.file.log in the Rails repo or am I just not seeing it?
Can you see my screen?
Oh, yeah, but I meant in Rose's.
Oh, well,
no, I added
here.
Because I just checked it, and it says where is it? Oh, it doesn't have a version here. Where was it? It was up here somewhere.
But anyway. I mean, at least for me, in Rose's thing from here, it
is 1.14. It is 1.14. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. I thought boy, it's my vision. I look at things, and sometimes 4 is a 1.
Sure.
Sorry.
No, and that actually is right bang up to date, which certainly suggests that their Poltergeist JavaScript modals, unless there's something. I wonder if there's.
I mean, I see like on their Poltergeist repos, like they seem to believe that they're like in their issue tracking and stuff. They're like, we added actually the ability to pass a regex now to accept modal.
I wonder if the problem here is it possible that, I mean, I think I'm going to try this and probably then wrap up, but is it possible that the link clicking needs to be done inside this accept confirm setup? Do you know what I mean?
I thought that was my initial thought. Although
but what I mean is,
I couldn't get it to see it.
I think you're misinterpreting me. I'm saying, do we need to first click the delete link inside that block?
Yeah.
Right. And then click the confirm, like the modal text.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I think I tried that, but I mean, I can try it again.
What I'm just doing here is I'm then pulling that inside, and I'm just.
That would make sense to me.
I mean, it's like, that block, like, maybe, anyway, let's see what it does if we just fail, and then I should just go, it can't find, now that's interesting.
Yeah.
Did you already click delete? I mean, you didn't stop.
No, well, what I did is, I basically said that I've adjusted it so the scenario tries to delete the movement code, but I've removed the pressing of delete, because we know that at least the pressing of delete just raw, it just ignores it. So I then moved that inside the thing here, but I wonder what dismiss.png will now look like there.
I actually think that was the first thing I tried.
Okay, but so here, so at least at this point now, we can say, yes, it hasn't yet deleted it. And so then we're trying this accept confirm thing, and we're trying to click, well, it's a button, isn't it? So let's click button.
So are you running this with WebDriver?
No, I'm running this with Poltergeist.
The test?
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to actually see it come up.
So here, okay, so the button is now working, but now it's saying that it can't find the, so here we go. This is, what we can even do here is stick these in this dismiss, and that's after we've clicked delete. And that would be, I mean, I think we're just going to see it. I think it's going to be Armando is right that this doesn't, at least there's not an obvious alternative.
Armando's leaving, and he says he thinks you should just try WebDriver.
Indeed. And I guess is there some downside from WebDriver? Just, I mean, you tried it previously.
No, just I couldn't figure out how to get it to work.
Right. Yeah.
Were you in C9
parts?
Yeah, I'm in C9.
Well, you probably can't run it in C9 without XVFB or whatever.
Go on, Armando.
There's a good post that I'll try to forward that explains the fact that whether you're using Poltergeist or WebDriver, there's actually a lot of moving parts and a lot of concurrency going on that makes it harder to get tests to behave consistently. So I don't know that there's sort of anything to be done about it. That's orthogonal to the fact that Poltergeist can't handle this situation, as I recall. But just be aware that whenever you're doing any kind of JavaScript testing, there's basically the thread that the test framework is running in, the thread that the app logic is running in, and the thread that the JavaScript interpreter is running in. And those are sort of three different loci of control. So, expect danger.
Yeah, I mean, when I was, all the different things I was trying revealed that. That there were, in fact, separate threads going on. It was really difficult to see how they sync together or if they didn't sync together. But the reason I was doing it was because I discovered a silent failure. And, when I see a silent failure, I say, even if it's easy code to fix, that I should do a test so that it won't silently fail.
I think your intuition, Rose, was absolutely correct, and it's a great thing to do there. I mean, I've just switched to WebKit, and it's similarly not
Yeah,
not
it
picking
wasn't
it up.
working on with WebKit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just I guess I'm gonna have to go back to WebDriver, but again, I mean, as I said, a lot of these posts, they tell you to do something and they've left things out and they've misspelled things, and
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, well, I mean, it'd be great if I could find some like some site that really documented everything, but so far I haven't been
Well,
able to.
I think from this is, it would seem to me that, I mean, both, I've got WebKit here is not working. Poltergeist is not working. I mean, I think the thing here is I would like to. So there's one is, say, from Raskin, from the Humane Interface, that confirmation dialogues are actually bad user interface experience, and what you should offer is undo and not, because people are just clicking through on like confirmation dialogues all the time. So like, I mean, it's sort of ridiculous that it's so complex to test.
It is.
But actually, those kind of pop-up dialogues like that are built into the browser are, they kind of don't look very nice for a start. I mean,
again, I mean, I'm just going with what's there.
Sure, right.
And I was thinking this would be a great exercise for legacy code, if you know what I'm saying. Here's the thing, it's silently failing.
We have this question here about, like, you've spent 5 days on trying to get the testing working for this.
Yes.
And it's like, if this aspect of the browser and the user interface is so difficult to test, maybe that's actually pushing us towards saying the system should operate differently. And I think that I mean, Raskin and the Humane Interface. Have you read that book?
No.
Oh,
no.
Well, I mean, he's like,
sounds interesting.
Built a computer with no off button. He's because he's saying, like, the whole,
Yeah. I misheard his name.
Oh yeah, probably.
I'm aware of his work, but I haven't read the book.
Oh yeah. It's but he has this strong argument for saying that confirmation dialogues are just, and what you should offer is undo. I mean, it's kind of, it would seem to me that, we know that we can easily test being able to click the links and whatever without any of these JavaScript pop-ups and so on. So it's almost a thing, is like, if the testing pain, I think I'm often tempted to carry on and like tie ourselves in knots in order to get the testing right. But actually, I mean, this is the idea with, if don't mock what you don't own and so on, is that sometimes if you've got a mock train wreck, so to speak, that's saying, it's telling you something about the structure of your underlying system. So I mean, I'm maybe like bashing a square peg into a round hole there.
Don't forget that part of dealing with someone else's code is building characterization tests, and you could put that, I mean, with the silent failure, etc., etc. That's what this is. It's a characterization test, which I'm supposed to use to explore what's going on, only it's going quite awry.
Right.
And
absolutely, but the question is, I mean, and we got into the same issue with the AutoGrader, right? In that we kind of leaving it as it was, and Paul and I spent a couple of years tying ourselves in knots to try and create characterization tests that really covered all of the existing functionality before we started a major refactoring, and we burnt a huge amount of time on it, and then ultimately never got to make the changes because we just kind of completely ran out of steam because it was so hard to do the top level characterization test. So there's an interesting, it's like, absolutely, if you can easily put in a top level characterization test, I mean, it's this thing, it's like, oh yes, the complete fix will be just around the corner, but then when it isn't, and it isn't, it's like, how long
here,
do we
can I interject something? This goes back to TDD. All right, why was a line inserted that didn't have a test? Because when you code, when you do the test first, you make code that's testable. When you don't do test first, there's no guarantee that your code is testable, as we've just seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think if nothing else, it's really illustrating why TDD is important.
Oh,
Because
totally.
now we're
Yes.
stuck with this, right?
Right,
And I
right.
agree with you. There's probably a better way of doing it. In fact, at this point, maybe my energy should be spent on learning how to do it a better way. But
Right.
it's certainly been at least, very enlightening.
Mm.
I mean, you probably know that I have compressed vertebrae in my neck
Yeah.
because of bad code.
Right. Yeah.
And
From
and
airline simulator thing.
badly tested code that ran in parallel asynchronously. I mean, it's exactly this kind of issue that caused my injury. Okay, so I'm highly motivated to work on this sort of thing.
Sure.
So why don't you, to get around the issue, like Sam's saying, we could basically put in like a soft delete functionality where it's kind of archived.
Yeah. Use one of the
And
paradigms.
then when someone clicks that button, it redirects them to a show page for that soft deleted functionality.
I'm not sure I'm understanding you. I mean, as I said, I'm open to any
Like
suggestion.
basically what to redesign the interface, I'm saying.
Oh,
Basically,
yeah,
rather than wrapping around it, you would basically like archive it. But then when the user deletes it, it actually archives it, and then the user is instantly redirected to a show page for that archive, and there's an undo archive button on there. Just undo what you just did. So they're like given a second chance to look at it and say, "Oh, I screwed up," and now I want to actually reverse that.
Yeah.
That would just be a simple.
That's a great idea.
That would basically be what Sam's saying, right, Sam?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm. What's it called?
So an archival copy. An archival copy, it would or wouldn't be it would already be deleted from the database, but it would be like a local copy, or how does that work?
No, it acts as Paranoid as a gem, and what it would do is it basically adds a deleted at database, and so what it would then do is, like, when you clicked delete, it would just, instead of actually removing it from the database, it would just set the current time into the deleted at value, so that item would then not appear in the list. But when you clicked delete, what it could do is take you to another screen and it would find it using, like, the Paranoid gem allows you to find that thing, and it would say, so you deleted this, if you want to undo that process, please click here, otherwise click here to go on to the next screen.
Yeah, so what the Access Paranoid gem does in Rails is it basically hacks an active record, and in a normal query scope, it excludes those things that have been deleted, soft deleted, so that they don't show up in the normal finds, but there's like another scope with deleted that lets you find them.
Could somebody type the gem name? I'm not sure I'm hearing it correctly in the chat.
I think they changed the name. It's Acts as Paranoid,
Acts as Paranoid. I thought it was Access Paranoid, which made no sense.
There's one. I think they've called it. It's now called There's Paranoia or Paranoiac, I don't know which is the. This has got a lot of stars in it. Here's at least one version of it. Yeah, it used to be. Yeah. I did just in the background there, I found one thing that was interesting, that this is in the poltergeist things. There actually is a different, there's like a dismiss confirm and a accept confirm stuff there, which, so the way
and that's what I use.
Well, no, you had accept confirm.
That's what I use.
You had accept confirm in both of them.
No, I have dismiss confirm in one.
Well, no,
Well, I have two. I have two that have I have two that have.
You're having accept modal and dismiss modal.
Yeah.
And I had been trying there with accept confirm in both, but there's this different thing between.
That was something I tried earlier.
Yeah.
That was something I tried earlier.
But none of these things here seem to be. I mean, I'm kind of slightly suspicious here about whether it's. I mean, this actually now. What have I done? I'm not in. I guess I will just run this. I'll just move this back to Poltergeist.
Yeah.
I was assuming that was on. That was working with. Yeah, I've got to go. let me just, I'm going to run that one last time.
I believe that I started out with the accept confirm and dismiss confirm, and then I looked at SFH and I moved it to what they were using.
Right. But yeah, I mean, this one certainly doesn't seem to, you know, we find ourselves like the frog being boiled, right? Is that we're sitting here, we're trying all these different things. And
Absolutely.
I think we definitely conclude that in this situation, it would be better to evolve the interface away to something that actually could be more easily tested, sticking around this, that, and the other. Cool. Well, there we go. I think I'm going to have to...
or you just go to the WebDriver, the head it, and I think that won't work with you easily in...
I mean, it would be nice to have,
because you're in C9. Yeah, you're in C9, so you're not going to have like a normal. It's not going to have like a normal screen to render the browser in. So there's usually something called XVFB.
Yeah,
it's a virtual buffer.
I installed that. Yeah, so that I would, and then you have to say which browser you're going to use, blah blah blah. I don't know that I did it right because it didn't work.
Right, but that's the thing is that, like, you're saying WebDriver, Michael. I assume you mean WebKit.
No, it's called WebDriver, right?
WebDriver. That was the first thing.
That's the new name for Selenium.
For Selenium. Sometimes it's called Selenium WebDriver. I mean, it's the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I was run.
WebKit WebDriver is like the underlying, like, binary code or whatever. It's like It's like the standard for how it interacts with the.
Yeah, but when I run it with the WebDriver, it doesn't work.
No, you ran it with WebKit. I thought you ran it with WebKit.
I did. I just changed it to WebDriver, and neither of them work.
No.
Is it launching like a window?
Do you have that like X window thing installed?
Anyway, I think it's I mean, the interesting thing, it may be possible to get it to work with WebDriver. I mean, no, in principle, like with the Selenium, when it loads the real browser and it works through, that would potentially work. Of course, then that's not going to work in CI and so on.
I know that something was wrong with my installation because I couldn't get it to bring up a web browser. So obviously, I did something.
It will generally work in CI, Sam. You just need to use a virtual buffer for it. And on Linux, it's XVFB.
I can get that all set up to work.
It's just more headache to set it up.
Yeah, well, exactly. And so the question then is against, headache to set up versus building something, that's easier to test.
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. I've got...
Yeah, sorry.
I'm going to have to run right now. So I'll see you guys next week. Bye for now.
Thanks. Bye, Sam. Yeah, Michael, I don't mind, spending time and learning how to do this stuff because, it broadens my understanding. Although, Sam's motivation would be quite different, and I understand that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's...
I do know, though...
Yeah, I think Sam...
I'm sorry?
I'm saying Sam and I have been bashing around on, like, real Rails projects for, like, 4 years, so it's not particularly interesting to us. We just kind of know, like, where all the kinks are, and we're just like, just do this. Just to get shit done. But but if you don't have that background in Rails, then it's kind of like everything's new.
Exactly. Now I do know that when I tried it with WebDriver, obviously I had something not configured or installed properly because when I tried to test it with opening up a browser, it wouldn't. So obviously there was something wrong with my setup, which had nothing to do with whether or not it would work with the JavaScript or not. I mean, I didn't even get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, somebody would have to maybe pair with you or something like you were saying, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well,
I mean, I would say at this point, Selenium's probably... I mean, do you have, like, a local machine?
What do you mean, a local...
It's like a virtual machine.
A local virtual box or something?
Like if you don't have
I used to.
OS X or Linux.
Yeah, I don't have it since my previous machine blew up, and basically I kind of tried to recover whatever I could from it and put it on this new one. And there's a lot of stuff that never made it over.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you have to figure out whether it's really worth continuing to bash away on this or not, because it's kind of...
Yeah. Well, what I usually do in a situation like this is I may try to move forward with what Sam suggested and put more energy into that, but I'll probably put this in the back burner and just keep on trying in little bits of time to see if I can figure out what the hell I did wrong.
All right, I'm going to get going. Good luck. Bye.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, bye. Thanks.